Welcome to the channel. Thank you to everyone for tuning in. So in today's video, I'll be reviewing a brand new release by Undone watches. I bring you the Urban Automatic. It's inspired by a pretty common vintage design we've seen many times, but it has one major upgrade. It features a fully automatic high-beat Miyota 9000 series movement. It's also been spec'd out to allow it to compete with the more modern watches. Specifications like a bespoke curved topper sapphire crystal, 100 meters of water resistance, a push-pull crown, and a screw-down display caseback. Now the movement used in this is the Miyota 9122, and it's my first time hands-on with this movement. It's a bi-Compax triple calendar movement which features a single pusher to operate the month indicator, and it features a day and date, and it's a 26 dual movement with a beat rate of 28,800 vibrations per hour. Now Miyota have made quite a few variants to these 9000 series movements, and they're all as reliable as each other. This one in particular is running +8 seconds a day with a 0 beat error. Now let's quickly cover some of the movement functions because it's the first time with my hands on this particular one. So as you can see on this bi-Compax subdials, you've got your day indicator to your left, and you also got your date at 6 with this particular setup. So the way that's operated is with the crown. So if you rotate the crown clockwise, you get the date at 6. Counterclockwise, you get to change the day. Now further pulling the crown to position 2 will obviously hack the seconds hand, which then allows you to set the time. Now the way, as I mentioned a bit earlier, the way to operate the month is by pressing this pusher, which will then move the indicator to the month. Now my only issue with this is it's not a solid click. So the way your date indicator moves, it doesn't move that way where it's just a solid click. You have to kind of press it and it sweeps across. And as you can see, if you don't do it correctly or if you don't press it for long enough, it does offer a very slight glitch. Now I don't know if this is a fault, I really doubt it is, and because it's my first hands-on with this particular movement, I don't really know how they work, but I think this is actually part of the function. Now it's not too bad, it's just a simple observation I've had. I mean, it is a premium movement, so I would like to expect a premium sort of click when this moves, but the date is obviously linked to the other two subdials, so when that changes over, so do the others. Now the watch does come in two different colors. The one I have in hand is a Sandstorm, which is of a beige sandy colorway with an off-white suede strap provided, and you also get the Eclipse, which is a black colorway on a black suede strap. Now this watch is available on Undone's website. It's retailing for $430, which is roughly around £330, which, considering the specifications and the movements used, it's a really good price. $330, it's not going to break the bank, and it still is pretty affordable for this particular style of watch and the movement used. Now let's give you the all-important figures of dimensions. This case is 40 millimeters across with a thickness of 13.8 millimeters. No doubt that's due to that high top sapphire crystal. You've got a lug-to-lug of 47.7 millimeters and a lug width of just 20 mil. Now this watch does look rather simple, but if you pay attention to the dial a little closer, which we're going to do now, you'll find how intricate it really is. Now the dial is a few different textures, so if you look a bit closer, the main A face or the main part of the dial, you've got this really nice linear brushed pattern, and it's quite coarse so you can see the whole grain. Now that contrasts against the other texturing you got, which is just like a texture, you know, like a mottling texture. And you can see that around the dial as well. And this texture is also present in the subset subdials to your 3 and 9. Now in terms of hour markers, you've got applied hour markers, which do feature linear brushing and beveled ends. You've got some really crisp printing as well. They've used colors like blue to your sub dial on your left. You've got a bit of red on the month sub dial and just a bit of red under the automatic, and of course that red on that stick seconds hand. The handset is also coarsely brushed just to see that texture there, and the textures do line up from the handset and the hour markers and across the dial. So just on the loom, there's plenty of loom on the handset, gives you an indicator of what the time is, and of course those tiny little pips which are loomed up just gives you an indication of the hours. I mean, it's not a loom beast, but I think it's more than adequate for the style of watch we're looking at. Now on this Urban Automatic, the case is pretty well done. We know it's a simple style of case that we see on these vintage inspired models. However, there's a lot of work done to the case. If we take a closer look at the bezel, you'll see it's like a double stepped bezel with a huge bevel around the side, fully polished, and the definition is really high quality here. Now that's broken up around the center with this vertical brushing, which does split the case, and that allows you to see the shape of the lugs and the case, and it's quite a nice looking shape, really well defined. It makes the lugs appear thinner than they actually are. Now the lugs are also polished at the front on the A face, followed by a polished bevel. Now, of course, with all these facets appearing on the case, it does make them difficult to distinguish if they're fully polished. I do prefer a bit of brushing, and I believe this could do with just a bit more brushing to kind of define the two-step bezel or define the lugs a little better. But, it's a dressy style of watch as well, so you're going to have, of course, a lot of polishing on there. Now the case back is exhibition. Unfortunately, it's not a sapphire sandwich, but you just got your normal mineral glass. But of course, you can see that Miyota 9122 movement in the back. And the thing with these Miyotas is, just have a listen. Just due to the design, they do have a bit of a noisy rotor, which is not too much of an issue, to be honest. Now moving on to the crown, it's a 7mm crown. You can see some signage over there, but I do like that grip. So if you take a look at these splines, the way they've been curved, it gives you excellent grip of that 7mm crown. It does make it really functional. Now the single pusher, I mean, it's not substantial enough. It is a little bit wobbly. There's a bit of play in there, and which does make the watch seem a bit basic. I think if they made that just a bit sturdier, it would have been a lot better. It's very similar to those Seagull watches that we see from AliExpress, with the ST1901. Now moving on to the strap provided, it is an off-white suede leather strap, and I think the first things that come to mind is the discoloration. Now because it is off-white slightly, or it's pretty much white, it's going to pick up dirt, and leather can be cleaned. Suede is going to leave a few marks on there, so you'd have to kind of be careful when you wear this watch, unless you go for the black version. They are quick release bars. It is really soft and supple, as it states, Italian leather on the back. The buckle is actually machined really nicely. There's a little taper to the buckle. You can see that brushing, as well as their brand name and that polished beveling. So there's a fair bit of work gone into the buckle, which does make that buckle look really nice. So the last thing is, on wrist, how does the watch wear? Now, the dimensions are quite good, so overall it's really comfortable. The strap is very comfortable. For me, the problem lies in these lugs. They are very straight. There is just a very slight angle down, but I feel for just 48mm, it should have a slight more of a downturn, because even though with a relatively short lug to lug, as I said, under 48mm, on the wrist shot you can see the watch does sit quite straight. The lugs appear as though they're sticking out on the wrist, so it's not totally comfortable for my wrist in particular, which is 6.5 inches in width. Now anyone with a wrist size bigger, we're talking about 6 3/4 or maybe 7 inches and above, this watch should sit really nice on the wrist. Just for my wrist size, I'm not just too sure about the lugs. I don't know why, but visually they just stand out quite a bit. I think overall the watch is a good release. I like the materials used. I like the design they went for, and the fact that they've gone for more premium movement. Usually Undone watches use a lot of NH35s, so they've tried to listen to the customer base and give us something a bit more premium with a classic look. So that's it from me today, guys. Let me know your thoughts below in the comments section below, as always, and I'll see you on the next video. Thank you all for watching.